Hello guys, so in this video I'll be showing us how to cut a half circle, a full circle and a double circle. So let's start with the half circle first. Now we need to calculate the radius of a half circle, which is your waist circumference divided by 3. So from basic mathematics, the radius of a half circle is your waist divided by 3.14, which is pi. So that will give me 7. So I'm using 21 as the waist circumference for this illustration. All you have to do is just put your own waist circumference. Okay, so my radius is 7. Now show us how to fold your fabric. Now for a half circle, you first of all fold your fabric into 2 like this. I'm using my paper as my fabric. Okay, so you fold into 2 like this, like you can see that. Then next thing, you're going to fold it in form of a triangle, or you're folding on bias, or you're folding at 45 degrees, whichever one works for you. So this is how to fold on bias, like this. Okay, so I'm just going to cut out the unwanted parts. I'm just showing us again how to fold a half circle. So you fold into 2 first, then you fold it in form of a triangle like this. Okay, so I'll just trim out the unwanted part of the pattern like this. Okay, so once we cut out that part, okay, next thing we are going to measure out the radius we calculated from the tip of the triangle. So you use the part where you have one of the folds and the other part that is opened. So I would measure 7 inches, which is the radius of the circle. So if your waist is 30, that means it will be 30 divided by 3. Whatever your waist circumference is, you divide it by 3 basically. So this is 7. I'm just marking my radius round. Okay, so I will join all the points together. Okay, so here is the radius, which is part that we don't need. Then from the arc, I'm going to measure the length of the skirt or the peplum we want to work with. So let's say we're working with 7.5 for the length of the peplum. Your peplum can be 4 inches, can be 10, can be anything, can be length. So I'm using 7.5 for this illustration. So I'm marking 7.5 inches. Then I'll join it together like this, and then I'll cut out. So this will be my zipper allowance. And then I will trim out the unwanted parts. Okay, so this is a half circle. So you don't need to drag this on pattern paper. Actually, you can cut it directly on your fabric. This is just for illustration purpose. Okay, so this is what a half circle looks like. Simple and straightforward. Now for a full circle, the radius of a full circle is your waist circumference divided by 6. Okay, it's just basic mathematics in secondary school. Okay, so we're still working with waist 21 inches. Okay, so 21 divided by 6 will give me 3.5. So my radius for a full circle is 3.5. Okay, and then the way you fold the fabric for the full circle is slightly different. Okay, so this time around, you're still going to fold the fabric into 2 again. I'll fold my fabric into 2 this way. Okay, and then I'll fold it the second time. This time not as a triangle. I'll just fold it again, like a second fold, like this. Okay, so like I said earlier on, you could actually cut peplums directly on your fabric. You don't need to waste pattern paper for this. This is just for illustration purpose. Okay, so let me go over that again. Your fabric is already folded. This is the edge of the fold, and then you fold again. Just make sure that the fold is long enough to accommodate the radius and the length of the peplum or the skirt you're working with. Okay, so I'm just going to trim out the unwanted fabric or the paper kind of. So I'm just trimming here out like this, and then once I do this, the very first step is to locate where you have more folds. So this is the tip of my fold here. So I have more folds here. Okay, now I'm just going to measure the radius of my full circle, which is 3.5 inches. Okay, so guys, please don't forget you're working with your own waist circumference, please. So our radius is 3.5. I'm just marking the radius like so. So you can see that the radius of the full circle is smaller than the radius of the half circle. So that's how it is. So you just mark your radius round, and then you just connect all the points together like this. So once you connect all the points, the next step will be to measure the length of the peplum. So I'm still using 7.5. Okay, so all the peplums are of the same length. The only difference is that the fullness. Okay, so I'm just linking all the points together like this. Okay, and then you cut out. So this is my full circle. I'm going to cut it out now. So I'm just cutting out like this. Okay, so in a real scenario, if you're cutting this on your fabric, you need to add seam allowance to the waistline, sorry, the hemline. And then this part I'm cutting here is the waistline of the peplum or the skirt. You should also add half-inch seam allowance that you use to join it. Okay, so I didn't add allowance because this is just pattern paper. So this is my half circle and this is the full circle. Now let's go to the last one. The last one is called your double circle. Some people call it 720 degree. Okay, for the double circle, okay, you want to divide your waist circumference by 2 first. Okay, so our waist circumference in this illustration is 21. Divided by 2 will give me 10.5. See, I'll now divide it by 6. Okay, so I'm using the same formula, but I'm dividing my waist circumference by 2 first before I now divide it by 6. So I have 1.75, approximately 2 inches. Okay, so for a double circle, you're going to cut a full circle twice. Okay, so I'm going to fold my fabric or pattern paper the way I will cut a full circle. Okay, it's the same way. Okay, now the only difference is I'm going to be cutting this full circle twice. So let me trim out the unwanted part of the fabric or pattern paper, whichever one's applicable. Okay, and then you can see the folds here, the same way you fold a full circle. Okay, so once I do this, I'm going to now mark my radius. So my radius, based on the measurement we're using, is 1.75. So on the tape rule, you have 1.75. So you could actually use 1.75, or you could use 2. Okay, that's you know, when you use 2 inches, you have extra allowance for zipper and that kind of thing. Okay, but if there's any excess, you can always trim it away. So by marking my 1.75, so you can see that the radius of a double circle is even smaller than the full circle. So that's my radius, and then of course I'll mark the length of my peplum, which is still 7.5. Okay, so if you are sewing a circle skirt and your skirt is probably 20 inches, that means the length of the peplum will probably be 20 inches. I only use 7.5 as an example. Okay, so I'm just linking all the points together like this. Okay, so once I link all those points together, then I'll just go ahead and cut this out. So from the name double circle, it means once I cut this particular circle out, I'm still going to cut another one, making 2. You understand? So by the time we combine the 2 circles together, it's going to give us a double circle. Okay, so I'm just going to trim out, and then I'll cut another one like I said. So here I'm cutting it out, and like I said previously, if you're cutting on your fabric, make sure you add seam allowance, please. Make sure you add seam allowance. Okay, so here is my double circle, and like I said, I'll be cutting another one, making 2. So this is the first one and the second one. So what you want to do is you want to open up one side of one of the double circles, and then you open up another side of the second double circle, and then in the real life scenario, you're going to be joining this with your sewing machine. So it gives, so by the time you join it, you have one whole peplum together. So you can see how full the double circle looks like. You can see it has more frills, it's more fuller. okay, compared to a full circle. So I'll show us the full circle now. Okay, so this is what the full circle looks like. The full circle too is not bad. It depends on the effect you're trying to project. So this is it. If you notice, all the circles have the same waist, the same length, but one is fuller than the other. Okay, and of course the last one is the half circle. Okay, this is the half circle. It's still the same waist, the same length, but of course is less fuller. Now there are other types of circle, but this is the most popular type of circle that people use. So, I believe you found this video very helpful. If you did, make sure you like, follow, subscribe, and leave a comment on this video. So, like I said, we still have quarter circle, we have three quarter circle, and all of that. Thank you so much. Bye.